lads, we're back again. Week 2 of Dan White's Contender Series, Season 9. We're back again. We are going to start this episode. We're back again. This week we're going to be talking about obviously the main event and everything else. So let's not waste too much time. Let's get down to the first fight. Tommy Kozo versus Ramiro Jimenez. I'll start with Jimenez here. I do have notes written down here, so just I like to do this during these videos just so I remember what I'm talking about, because a lot of regional scene stuff, a lot of the fights look the exact same. But he's coming off nearly a 3-year break. I think his last fight was in 2023 and almost December 16th in like a tournament format, because I was kind of confused when I first saw it, but it's a tournament format, which makes sense. As we come into, he's 5'9" with 74 reach advantage. I have seen this Nico Barrera fight. This is one, I thought he had some heavy hands. He caught off the cage correctly. He did look a bit sloppy in takedown defense inside the fight. He could shoot takedowns well, but he did leave his hips open. The rotation wasn't really there. There wasn't a lot of actual stuffing from him. He didn't really get the wizard side in the grappling either. It's one of those ones where he had a hold where he hit the ground. Questionable chin on him when he got cracked. He didn't fall, but he was definitely getting caught quite a bit. It's one of those ones where, to me, if I'm being honest, it's very questionable opponents. Nothing exactly spectacular from him, but nothing that makes you kind of think, oh yeah, this is kind of a man to take over. He definitely has the boxing advantage coming into this fight, and the kickboxing. He's definitely the one with the heavier hands. Maybe not the greatest real calf kick defense. He doesn't really check kicks too well. He does kind of circle off. Personally, in my opinion, I still think he probably gets this fight done, but that's just because I believe that Tommy Kozo over here has possibly fought some of the worst competition that has probably been seen on this show, in all honesty. His competition is very, 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 very questionable. I don't know where the UFC have found him, because this Ultimate Battlegrounds promotion is basically fought in like hotel lobbies. Like, they're literally in like rooms in hotels, and they're terrible. I mean, terrible. Even his most recent fight against Giovanni Meza, it looked like he fought a lad who was coming off a subway shift. Like, I'm genuinely not even messing. The finish was literally him just taking him down and him like acting like he got hit with back shots. I'm not even messing. He literally just tapped out to barely any strikes because his back was hurting. I don't know. I really don't. But if I'm going to be honest with Tommy here, I do think that he's very unpredictable, which works in his favour. His striking isn't spectacular, but he is unpredictable. The weird thing about him is that when he lands, he has heavy hands. He does have heavy hands, but another strange thing about Tommy here is that when he actually gets you onto the ground, he could have you flattened out on your stomach, ready to get absolutely bet. Then for some reason, he'll try to switch off to the side and try and take your back. Alright, sorry, if he's in top mount, he'll try to switch off to like the left side and try to take your back. Don't really understand it. He's someone who really shoots for the back. To not actually have many finishes by rear naked choke does not make a lot of sense. He finishes a lot of these by strikes. Like, Aaron Belcher is, what's he now? Eric Belcher's 2-5. Paul Teague is 1-8 when he fought. Now he's 1-13. 0-4. Now 0-7. 1-5. Very questionable competition, to where I'm not sure that Tommy really has a massive amount to really go from here. He does give up a lot of positions. The referee in this Eric Belcher fight as well was a terrible stoppage. He was barely even out, but most of these tap from strikes. Teo's probably his only real notable win, and even at that, Teo was kind of just getting pieced up with no real defense, wasn't really taking him down. If I'm going to be honest, I'm going to have to pick Jimenez here. I do think the best bet for this card is no distance. If you can get that bet, I'm picking props. I'm not going to back too much this week. Small money on Anaka. No point, because I think all the favourites or most of them are going to win, but no distance is definitely the bet. I don't know the odds, isn't available yet, but I will go with no distance. So I will move into the next fight of the night, which is Josh Hawkett versus Yuelo Gulameyer. Now, Josh Hawkett here is interesting to me, because even though he's obviously 5-0, his questionable competition also carries over here. Like Sean Rose 2-2 when he fought in Bellator Classic. John Lopez wasn't terrible, and then the Eric Longfield punches from crucifix, not spectacular. He's a former football player who is really good wrestler. He's from, of course, Jackson Wink MMA, which is massive actual academy. Obviously, a lot of brilliant fighters from there, of course. I'm not going to go through it, but a lot of brilliant fighters. We all know how good of a gym that actually is. My kind of issue with this is the striking isn't spectacular. Really good wrestling. Brilliant wrestling. Definitely live for a sub. But when he actually gets the back or gets you on the ground, his strikes are very soft. They're pillow hands-esque. They're not really with enough power that will make you think, oh yeah, I'm going to rock him or I'm going to finish him. It's one of those ones where it's like, he takes him down, you just kind of expect them to work for the position for the sub. Now that isn't a bad thing. He can definitely get a submission on a lot of people. He holds top mount very well. He holds his opponents down very well. He gets back up and the stand-up isn't spectacular, but he's usually able just to shoot instantly and get them straight back down on a submission. His one on Sean Rose is interesting because it was probably, he worked for a long time, then got the arm bar. His John Lopez one, again, he took back mount. Punches weren't exactly strong, just a combination. Punches from crucifix weren't strong as well, but a combination. Josh Hoggett is an interesting one because the sub is very live. We'll go over to Gurelio Udial here. Udial is really interesting to me because the man has probably some of the worst cardio I've ever seen in MMA. He has the biggest cardio issue. He brawls maybe a bit too much, but he does have heavy hands. He can cut off the cage. When he's actually in front of Hoggett, I'd be nervous because he does have heavy hands and he can drop someone. This Lucas Camacho fight is the one I'm probably going to notice and I'm going to highlight because, to be honest, he dropped Lucas Camacho with about 2:30 left in the round. Lost because when he got back up, he blew the gas tank. The man has never gone out of the first round, and that's not because he, is finishing fast. He physically can't get out of the first round. If he gets out of the first round, you're going to see a Dada 5000 Kimbo Slice type fight. If that man's generally just going to hit the mat and be probably die of exhaustion because he has some of the worst cardio I've genuinely ever seen. Okay, wrestling can actually kind of stop a few stuff takedowns, but I do believe that just Hoggett's overpowering wrestling will probably take this one. He rushes in a lot with head first. He kind of leaves the hips open. He does throw kind of more to the chest to try to open up the chin. He doesn't really do many feints, but he just kind of throw, then try and open up the chin. It's hard to say because I do believe that Josh Hoggett takes this, but Aurelio is definitely live for about 4 minutes. I would say Josh Hoggett by submission is the shout, and maybe under round 2, under 1.5. We'll move into the next fight of the night. So we have Lewis Lee Scott here. Lewis Lee Scott Lightning should win this pretty easily. He's coming from Manchester top team. He's definitely someone that kind of has the sort of grappling that I think should be able to take over this fight. Like this armbar against Yusuf Benate is a good example. He basically kind of pieced him up on the feet for quite a bit. He was pretty even back and forth on the stand up, and then he took him down and got him in an armbar and submitted him pretty quickly. It wasn't really that hard for him. He does obviously train with a lot of big men in Manchester top team. His striking sloppy at times. He does have very fast kicks, and he definitely is, as his nickname suggests, lightning with his leg kicks. His leg kicks land like mad. He could be caught being hittable. His chin sits up a bit high, but he should be okay in this fight leading up to this. I think his grappling will take him over the lines. I say he'll probably be able to submit Asser Jubilee 2 over here. Asser Jubilee 2, I do understand that the UFC will probably stop trying this whole Indian pride thing and the Indian experience after Asser Jubilee 2 loses here. Because to be honest, this man is actually like the carbon copy of Ryan Hall if he was like brown, bobbing, Vagine, begging and smelly. If those were the cases. Because to be honest, he really has the Ryan Hall sort of technique down, stand in front of your opponent and not really throw it and then try to roll into an origami roll, and somehow it works because Ryan Hall was one of the most confused until he ran into Litoria and got absolutely battered. He has a very odd stance, to be honest. He kind of stands like he's in the Karate Kid. It's very Muay Thai sort of stance. It's very strange. Slow on the feet. Struggles against a lot of like speed. So this is where I think lightning takes over. I think the kicks will be able to land pretty easily on Asser Jubilee 2 here, because to be honest, he really kind of struggles with anyone with a bit of speed. he does stand very much like Ryan Hall. He's very hittable, the same as Ryan Hall, but Ryan Hall had a strong chin. This one I want to look at is the Amada Usma fight. This was a terrible stoppage. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, that knee landed, yes, okay, landed, knocked him down, but then it was one or two punches where Amu Asai was very much there. He was not defending himself, but he was throwing back strikes, trying to grab a leg. Referee stopped it. Questionable stuff, because he was losing that fight easily, because all he was really doing was just shelling up. He landed something big, that's fair. I think he will get battered. I do think that he'll lose this pretty easily. I think he makes too many mistakes on the ground. I think the grappling of Lee will probably take him over. Not great striking, too slow. I do think lightning takes, and I do think the UFC will give up on this whole Indian project. I do believe that Asser Jubilee 2 here is just not going to win. There's no real point. Next move to Brandon Holmes versus Cam Rolston. Now look, Brandon Holmes is coming in here on short notice. I think he's coming in at like a week's notice. To be honest, his strength of schedule is terrible. The Zach Bruno fight, no, he hasn't fought anyone with even a winning record, so there's no real point. Or sorry, no, he has with Nick Garati. Sorry, with Nick Garati, that was an okay decision. I watched that. He's slow on the feet, maybe a bit heavy-handed. Could definitely cause some issue if he's able to land a stand-up. He's just slow on the feet. Not exactly one of the best strikers around. I can see Cam Ranston having really the more success inside this fight. Brandon is an okay grappler, not great takedowns. It's one of those ones where I think his cardio is probably going to let him down coming in at such short notice. Of course, Cam Rolston is the person who fought Terence Finney on the show. He has gotten 3 wins since. Look, to be honest, in the Terence Finney fight, I can get it. Terence Finney was like, he was so tall that he's kind of punching down. He definitely is the better kickboxer here. He comes from City Kickboxing, which obviously has all the best top talent from New Zealand. He hits me a lot as like a very much Navajo Sterling sort of fighter, and I do think that the finish is live here. I go in no distance. I do believe that he could get the submission here, because Brandon Holmes' takedowns just aren't good. I do think Cam Ralston has the stand-up, has the speed, has everything else. I'll take him at 5-4. I'm moving to the main event. Now, the main event, to me, there's only one fighter, and it's this man right here, Jose Delago. Jose Delago is someone that I can already tell has UFC quality, and if he's coming from LFA, usually I don't like LFA, but from watching his fights against Muslim there and Allen, you can tell that he clearly, very clearly has UFC talent. He comes from Brazilian top team. He has the stand up. He's fast, he's fluent, he's slick. He can definitely wrestle and grapple. If it goes there, he has good takedown defense. He has the more powerful hands. He has the faster hands. He's definitely someone to kind of upset this fight. I actually think he gets a finish in the main event as well. I think round 1 or 2 easily. Emmanuel Espirito is very hittable. He's coming from not great competition, to be honest. He's lost to some kind of bad opposition. He's coming from Budo and a few different promotions that just aren't really on the same caliber as LFA. He's definitely coming off like he's 6-0 and fought a lad 0-0. Is it like 1-1? Definitely not the greatest. He does have some decent grappling, but I don't think his striking, he's a bit too slow on the feet. I think he'll be pieced up 1-2, so rain down from Jose Delago over here, and I think Jose Delago will take this fight easily. But anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button or hit subscribe button. I'll see you again next week for this. If you haven't hit the red button and you enjoy these picks and all these wins, please hit the red button, because I'll be back next week, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.